Despite the fact that everything in the world suffers from the same hesterpunum, the same concealment of the godly life force behind it, everything within the realm of klipas noga, which we said is everything in the material world within the realm of something that's permissible, is the same concealment of the godly life force within it. That being said, the filter of the godly light within varies, meaning some things have a thicker screen than others. A rock has a greater level of concealment than a plant, as a plant shows signs of life, of growth, of movement. In the terms of, you watch your little bean sprout go from, you plant it in, and you get to see it grow. You get to see the signs of life, which hint to the divinity within it more than something that's inanimate. So this can be divided into 4 categories. There's 4 different categories that we find in this world. There's inanimate, minerals, rocks, anything inanimate, plant life, animal life, and speaking life, aka human life. And they are also connected with the 4-letter tetragrammaton of God's name, which is Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. So Yud, being the beginning of God's name, is connected with speaking life, Hey, animal life, Vav, plant life, and the last Hey, inanimate life. So meaning the further down you go in God's name, the greater level, the greater thickness of that veil, of that screen is, meaning all the same level of hesterpunum, of the hiding of God's face. But in terms of how much I can actually perceive the godliness within it, that depends on how thick the filter is, how much I'm able to have access to see the godliness within that thing. And so speaking life has the greatest revelation, right? That's where you see, you can see the life within a person. You can look into a person's eyes and you can see the life within them, and through the quality of speech, right? Animal life a little bit less so. Plant life, right, doesn't have the ability of full movement, right? It doesn't move around the way an animal does, but it does still have some movement in terms of growth. And inanimate life, which you don't have any of those signs of life within it. So the Alter writes, in general, all things in the world are divided into 4 categories. The men of highest, the energy found in the mineral and vegetable categories, are incomparably minute relative to the men of highest, the energy found in animals and humans. Even though all 4 categories receive their godly highest, their energy, through the medium of klipas noga, which is the energy that enlivens all permissible things in this world. Similarly, there's no comparison between the degree of Or Ein Sof, God's endless light, invested within a mitzvah performed with kavana, and one performed without kavana, right? You can feel the godliness of a mitzvah with kavana, and you can't feel it without the mitzvah, with just the action. So too, Hashem's in everything, of course, but the way you can perceive godliness in a human being, in something someone that's speaking to you, versus in the way of something that's inanimate, it's incomparable. The Or Ein Sof, God's endless light, is enclosed in a mitzvah no matter what. But a mitzvah done with kavana, with intention, contains a much greater illumination of the Or Ein Sof. It's revealed. You can actually feel and see and perceive the godly life force within it. So we're coming back to this truth that just like mitzvahs are an expression of Hashem's desire, of God's desire, your kavana, your consciousness, your intent, the energy, the love, the passion you're putting into the mitzvahs is also an expression of God's desire. A mitzvah with kavana is thus superior due to this added fulfillment of Hashem's will, in filling both the body and the soul of the mitzvah. So God's will is to have mitzvahs, and within that will, it's all one will, but there's the component of God's will, which is that He wants the action, and the component of God's will that He wants your intent, and they're all part of the same mitzvah. So meaning I'm expressing God's will through the action, but now that I'm adding kavana, I'm expressing God's will through that kavana. And so they both are for the same purpose. They're all for fulfilling God's ultimate will, which is to have a home in this world. And so the power of kavana is the same thing as the power of action. They're fulfilling God's will. So just we have 613 different mitzvahs, and yet they're all God's will. So kavana and mitzvahs fall into that same idea. They look very different, the action versus the intent, and yet they're all part of the same desire to fulfill God's will in this world. Thank you for taking the time to explore today's Tanya together.